Hello and welcome to the Caz and Daz show. It is episode 5, although, the numbering convention is going to go out the window if we keep having great live shows like we did on Saturday evening when GB's women took on and defeated Poland. If you want to catch up with what Caz and I had to say, and we also had Adam Masters on post-game with the one and only Michael Hansen-Morris, check that out on our YouTube channel. But hello, welcome. It's Thursday evening, the Caz and Daz show. We're really excited to have on another great interview with a top-tier individual. It is Phillip Brown, of course. He is going to join us in just a moment. 5-year pro player in France. Done some youth coaching work over in America with the Hawks and the LA Clippers. He's back in France, and we're going to hear all about his journey, but also, most crucially, about the WNBA Wobble, which was the Instagram that he set up over this season, talking all things women's basketball with Phillip Brown. Looking forward to that. Also, of course, we've got the WNBL review from the weekend. The WBBL may have taken a week off for the international break, but the WNBL stops for nobody. Of course, GB review and Rincon Caz's Corner. It's going to take us all around the world, probably to Australia. It's most likely to be Australia because there was no basketball in Turkey this week. Oh, except that there was. All right, let's get into it. First off, Caz, how are you doing, my friend?
Hi, Darren. I'm good. I'm very good. I've been watching some Australian basketball. You're right. There is basketball in Australia. And that great GB game that we had at the weekend, which was a fantastic show of GB basketball. And
we're going to get into all of that after a while. But first, let's introduce him, the person that we've given the big build up to. It's Phillip Brown. How are you this evening, Phillip?
Hey, doing well. How about you guys? Thanks for having me on.
It's the pleasure is absolutely all ours. Really, really glad to have you on. So if it's okay with you, we just talk through your history of basketball, your story in the game.
Yeah. So where do you want me to start at? In high school, college, or?
Yeah, let's start with where you're from. Where are you from?
Okay, so long story. I was born in Germany. I lived there until I was 8 years old. My father was in the United States military. So I lived there. But then, when I turned 8, we moved, or he got stationed in Atlanta, Georgia. And that's where I, kind of grew up at, is in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay, awesome. And has basketball been with you always, or when did you pick up the sport?
So starting off, growing up in Germany, started off playing football, or soccer, as Americans call it. So I did that until about 13 years old. And then I picked up basketball the year before that, at like 12. So I'd always played around the neighborhood, with the guys, that I lived close to, but I never played like recreationally or like on a team until I was like 12 years old. Yeah. So
in a parallel universe, you're on a podcast talking about like the Women's Super League or something like that with the soccer. Is that what's happening?
Exactly. Yeah, no, I still love soccer, football. Our women's team is great actually for America, like way better than the men's team. So
it is, yeah.
So basketball took you to university. It took you to Georgia Southwestern for 4 years. How was that?
Yeah. Well, I actually started off at the Air Force Academy. That's Division I basketball. I played there for 2 years in the Mountain West Conference. Then I transferred and was at D2 at Georgia Southwestern, where I graduated from. And that was awesome. I was an All-American down there. I was recently inducted into the school's Hall of Fame, the Sports Hall of Fame down there. And I actually just got an email today and said that I just got selected for the committee for the Hall of Fame. So I'll have the opportunity to vote for, the next guys that come into the Hall of Fame. So definitely very, very proud to be from there.
That's awesome.
And led the team to the first I led the team to their first NCAA tournament birth in actually school history. And then I was, like I said earlier, I was the school's first Division II All-American in any sport. So that was pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say, what does it mean to be? So we don't have anything like that over here. I can't, Caz, can you think of anything that's equivalent to being an All-American?
No, I mean, I guess it's the national team, isn't it? Getting a national team call up for something. We don't have anything sort of with that kind of, that you're kind of aiming to like that.
So like all the Division II universities out there, they picked 10 players from all the schools in the whole country, and then I was one of the 10 players on that team. So that's pretty much what it is.
That must be that must be an amazing feeling to be, get an accolade such as that.
Yeah, and it came out of nowhere because it was actually my first year back playing basketball after transferring. And I didn't know anything about Division II basketball, actually. Just went out there and played as hard as I could and, just listen to my coaches as much as possible. And then, it just paid off. So it actually came out of nowhere. And then I was didn't really know what it meant at the time either because, I was just a kid, just having fun playing basketball and working hard. And yeah, it's a great accomplishment now to look back on it. But at the time, it was like, okay, yeah, just go out there and play hard.
So after graduation, you came over to Europe, or came back to Europe, I suppose, and you played in France.
Exactly. So I decided to sign with a European agent. I really wasn't looking forward to going to like the G League. I really wanted to go back to Europe for some reason. And then so I signed over here. Had my first stint in Les Sables d'Olonne, France, like on the western coast, like on the Atlantic Ocean, like actually on a beach city. So it's pretty awesome first experience in France. Oh, excuse me. And I actually got hurt that year. Well, I got hurt my senior year of college as well. Tore my meniscus and I re-injured my meniscus there. So that time was cut short. So I came back home, rehabbed for a whole year, which I was really thankful for because during that time, my mother was also going through breast cancer. And so I was able to be there and support her. And she actually got diagnosed with it while I was in France that first year. But she thought I was out there living my dream. So she didn't even, tell me because she wanted me to focus on my dream, which was, it was super crazy and a super hard time for her to be there by herself, kind of going through the situation. And then for her to think of me and my time, in France and living my dream. So even though I did get injured in France, I look at it as a blessing that I was able to come back home and be with my mother through that time. So she did have her surgery and she has been cancer-free ever since then. So that's a blessing.
Fantastic.
So it lined up perfectly. Unluckily I got hurt, but it lined up for me to come back. Rehabbed for the rest of that year. Came back to France in Mont-de-Marsan. It's like in the south, like an hour north of Spain. So I've been in some pretty cool areas actually.
Yeah, sounds like
it was like 45 minutes from the western coast of France again, but like an hour north of Spain, which was pretty cool to go down to San Sebastian like on a weekend or something.
Yeah.
Be able to hang out in Spain for a bit. So stayed down there for 2 years. Came back to France. Didn't sign for the start of the season again. Got picked up a couple games in at a team in Amiens, France. It's like an hour and a half north of Paris and like an hour south of Belgium. So like right there in the sweet spot, so I could get to either destination pretty quickly. And I stayed 2 years there. So that was pretty cool. During my time here in France, I was selected to a couple all-star teams, won a couple dunk contests, and won a couple like cup cup tournaments. I can't translate it. Cup tournaments, I guess. While I was over here for the team, so that was pretty cool too.
What was your dunk in the dunk contest? What was your winning?
What kind of dunk?
Yeah.
Oh man, I just like my windmill. I have like a really nice windmill. I have to show you guys on Instagram. It's like full extension. And then one cool one, I came actually in second place in this dunk contest. I think I I got kind of bamboozled by the judges. Like this young French guy, this young French guy actually win. But it was the final dunk, and I kind of went off to the side, put on my shirt, put on this mask. I won't tell you what it is yet. And then the announcer's like, "Where'd Phillip Brown go?" Speaking in French. And then like one of my teammates went over to us like, "Yeah, he's coming up. Just wait." He's like, "Okay, Phillip Brown's coming back out. I think we lost him." So then I come like out from the back, and I have like on my Captain America like mask, like with like a Captain America shirt on. And, I do the windmill. And everybody kind of storms the court, and we're all like jumping, like, yeah. We think it's over, like it's normally over, and then like one of the judges gives me like a 9 or something, so then I like end up, so I end up like tying with the kid or whatever, the young guy. Yeah, so it was a fun story though. I still had a good time.
Are we gonna score that one up to like a bit of a homer call on their part?
Right. Yeah. Give it to the home kid. Right. Exactly. So, but no, it was definitely fun. It was a great opportunity and great experience. But yeah, that's my favorite dunk, windmill. Probably been doing that for like over 10 years, 15 years probably.
So after your first stint in your pro playing career, I think that's probably the best way to phrase it. Sure. You became a development coach for the Atlanta Hawks. Am I right in saying that?
Yes. All right. So after I kind of retired from basketball, came back home to Atlanta, and then actually linked up with the Atlanta Hawks and was actually a player development coach for them. And so what we do is we go around the city, we do community outreach, and then we also hold camps and host camps for kids in our community or, in different communities. They come down and we just put them through drills. I met a lot of great people there in the organization with the Hawks. I learned a lot from other pros. We had some guys that play, short stints in the NBA that would come. We had current players that would come to the camps and, show us different drills, show the kids different drills. And yeah, got to do some pretty cool, junior NBA events with the Hawks, and just really, feeding back into the community that raised myself. I really wanted to do that. I felt like I could have made better choices as far as like picking a manager, like taking care of my body, getting right nutrition. There's a lot of things that I didn't know as an athlete because I was just, a young kid trying to have fun. So I really take it as I really, take it to heart to like give back to my community and give back to these young athletes and, be a positive mentor for them and let them know like these are the correct things you want to do if you want to make it to a, the certain level. If you want to get the best out of your experience, this is, giving them a little advice and tips and stuff. And then also, on the court stuff as well, that's, obviously important too. The drills that we do, but I think, being a mentor and talking, more life stuff, is where I really come in at. And, I have my degree in psychology. So, I really like talking to kids. I like, impacting their lives. I think they're the future. And, I want to see them do great things. So.
And that role also took you to the Clippers.
No, say it again, sorry.
Sorry, did that role took you over to Los Angeles with the LA Clippers?
Exactly. So, all right. So, long story short, my girlfriend, she's French, so she was looking for an internship in America, and I said, like, okay, wherever you get an internship at, I just move out wherever you're going, and it happened to be Los Angeles, so I just used my NBA network to connect with the Clippers, and so we moved out to LA, and I got with the Clippers, kind of in the same role. Stuff was like more basketball oriented and less like community outreach oriented. I would say with the Clippers, which is pretty cool. So, and then it was more spread out. LA is kind of big. I don't know if you've ever been, but we would go like all over the place to do camps and in different communities. So I like that as well. It wasn't just focused in like downtown LA or, by Staples Center or whatnot, or by the Forum. It was, we were out there outreaching the kids all over the place. So I really enjoyed that time. Spent 2 years there. And while I was there, I was able to actually get like a list of clients that I would train individual clients that I would train in basketball and stuff too. So I had a great time out in LA. Had a great time with the Clippers as well.
I know this is probably like bad form, but can you name any clients? Say no if you can't, or you don't come.
No. I work mostly with up and coming kids. So my sweet spot age group is 9 to 13. That's where I really, like to get the kids in at. So they're old enough to know some basketball, but not old enough to think that they're I don't know, they don't have an ego yet. That type of thing. Not saying that all kids older do, but they're they want to learn, they want to get in there. And they want to make it happen. So I think that's my sweet spot. But I worked with, guys from, 4 years old all the way up to some guys that are playing overseas in the professional as well.
Oh, that's awesome.
That must be really cool to see them develop as well. You've helped them get to that point and things. That must be pretty rewarding.
Yes, I love it actually. That's the one thing about working with kids is that they're always, soaking up everything around them. They're getting bigger, they're getting stronger, they're getting faster. They're watching more games, they're getting, more skills and stuff. So yeah, to watch the development is really rewarding. That's kind of the best part of it is, seeing them accomplish things, seeing them go out and, score 10 points for the first time, go out there, score 20 points for the first time, them come back excited to say, hey, remember that move we worked on? I did that in the game and it worked, that type of thing. So those are always like the little rewards that you kind of live for in this type of this type of situation.
So that's a really great point to transition as to what we typically talk about here, which is women's basketball. Now, I've not done the coaching to the standard that you have, but with my under 16s and under 12s, one thing I always tell them is watch basketball and watch women's basketball. And this is to female players, male players, everybody. Go and watch the women's game. Go watch the WNBA, go watch the WBBL, which is our top league in this country, and the NBL. Is that something that you do with your players? You advise them to go and watch the women's game?
Of course, yeah. Women are so fundamentally sound, it's ridiculous. If you want to get good fundamentals, good footwork, watch women's basketball. I'm telling you, if you want to get good skill work, watch women's basketball. So yeah, I worked with male and female clients, and I definitely tell them to watch, NBA, WNBA, even overseas basketball. So I think it's important to see how the game works at a high level, and then try to implement that in your level as well.
So obviously over the summer you had your WNBA Wobble Instagram, and you were using that to showcase and highlight the players. Just talk to us a little bit about what drove that decision and what you learned during the process.
Yes, I've always been a women's basketball fan. Ever since high school, we traveled with the women's team. We watched them play before. Our game. Even in college, we were with the women's basketball team. And then when I go overseas, I just saw all the love and admiration that they got as the professional women got. And so I really, really admired that and really loved that. And I love the women's game because, like I said, it's so pure. If you watch the women's game, you'll see such high level skill that, and fundamentals that is ridiculous. But yeah, so I actually saw an NBA bubble Instagram, and I kind of looked around for a WNBA one to follow as well. You follow them, NBA one, you follow the equivalent WNBA one that wasn't one. So I took it on my shoulders to make one. I was like, okay, this is a great opportunity. They're in a unique situation as well during the WNBA time, during this time of COVID. I want to document this, and bring this to the forefront. And so then I tried to do that as best as I could. It was a learning curve. I never ran an Instagram and been a content creator to that level. So I went out there, I got a logo made, I DM, plenty of people to, try to, get this off the ground. And I was able to do that. Jackie Jomez actually was my first WNBA player that I got to interview. That was
Jackie
pretty
G.
cool.
We love Jackie G.
Yeah. No, it was awesome. She's awesome. And then actually my coordinator for the Clippers they know each other. So it was, the higher you get up in basketball, the smaller the world gets. So we ended up talking about that as well. But yeah, I just really wanted to actually have a platform for women's basketball and just promote women's basketball. I don't think the WNBA gets the recognition that it deserves in America. And that's sad, actually. It's very sad that people are missing out on, these incredible talents. So I wanted to do my part to showcase that and, have them have a platform. So.
What did you make of the Wobble, the women's bubble this year, and how that worked?
I thought it was amazing. I thought they did a great job down at IMG. They had a beautiful campus. The food was great from what I heard. They had 0 COVID outbreak. That in itself is a huge deal during this time. Same with the NBA, but during this time to pull off a logistical feat like that and have it run as smooth as it did, and with as many players coming in and out with injuries and trades and picking up people and stuff. I think it went well. I think it was a unique opportunity as well for the players to get to know their teammates, because I noticed, playing professional basketball sometimes it's a job. Yes, you are together a good bit of time, but when you leave, you go home to your family, you go home to your friends, and that type of deal. But these girls were like, they were back in college, they were all dormed up together, they all lived in the same room, they're all hanging out. So I'm pretty sure they got to appreciate a deeper bond to their teammates than they've ever experienced before in professional basketball. Maybe not as much overseas, but yeah, I think it's a unique opportunity. And then the level of basketball was amazing. Like they were able to get the rest, even though they were playing almost back to back a lot, and every other day a lot. There was no travel involved, so they seemed more fresh. The games were better. The season was a little bit shorter. So yeah, it was just a great high level of basketball, and yeah, got to see some great stuff out there. So I was super excited for the season. I actually won a contest and received what is it, like the WNBA package. So I got like all the games.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was a blessing. And I watched more women's basketball this summer than I had ever before, and I wanted to continue that from here on out. So definitely became more of a fan. If I wasn't a fan before, I definitely became more of a fan now.
Yeah, I think this was a great, and Caz, jump in anytime. But this was a great opportunity for the league, and I think that they grabbed it really well with both hands. Just from things like the orange hoodie, if you're watching, feel free to send one over. All three of us, right. The orange hoodies, the way that they focused on the social issues and the social justice as well, but harnessed it like really effectively. That sounds kind of callous, but I think you know what I mean. Like they use their platform very well.
Yes, and they've always been like in the forefront. Excuse me, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you go ahead.
They've always been in the forefront of social issues. They've never been afraid to speak up on, social issues that are going on in America and around the world. So I've always, applauded them for that. And, like you were saying, this summer, it really showed, whether it was, COVID or whether it was Breonna Taylor or, any of the other injustices that went on in America. They were really, forefront with it. And they made, valuable statements that America thanks them for.
And to go back to the on-court, if that's all right. Now, you mentioned the word opportunity, and Jackie G, for example, she didn't get a huge amount of chances at times, but my God, did she take them when they were presented to her?
Right.
What players, other than the legendary Jackie G, stood out to you as having a great opportunity in front of them and really grasping it?
Oh, one comes to mind is Dangerfield, the point guard from Minnesota. Rookie. We didn't really know what to expect from her. But she just balled out this year. She ended up winning Rookie of the Year, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, she balled out and, took that opportunity, by the horns and really showed up and showed out. So yeah, as a rookie, she did amazing. So
she had one of my favorite plays this season where she's driving to the basket against the Sparks. fakes a pass, and Candace Parker just turns and looks behind her, and she just goes straight to the basket. I was like, wow,
Right.
that's a play.
That's a move, right?
Yeah.
I'll tell you who wouldn't have turned around. Alicia Clark, the Focus Hoops Defensive Player of the Year. I'm just saying. There is no salt. I'm just saying.
But yeah, and then also you gotta look at, like, you know, your stars. Like, you have Diana Taurasi. Then you have Brianna Stewart. You know, one of the coming off an injury like she came off of, and to come out and perform like she did and win Finals MVP. It was just so many talented players that got to showcase themselves this year. Just thankful that I was able to, you know, tune in for most of it and get more acclimated with it as well.
Do you think that the league, the W, are going to take any lessons from this season? Maybe, for example, personally, I like the simplicity of you play 22 games, everybody plays each other twice, and let's just go from there. I don't know. For some reason, maybe it's because it's how we run in Europe, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
right.
I quite like that. What do you think the league could take going forward?
That's a good question. I haven't thought about that yet. I like the 22 games where everybody played everybody twice. I don't know how that would work, like with the TV revenue and, you know, them trying to get them. They want to have more games to get more publicity and stuff. So I think that's going to be a challenge for them to actually implement. I don't know. Maybe a shorter season, like you were saying, but maybe not 22 games. I'm not sure how they could work that out, though. Good question. Come back to me on that one.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Or alternatively, is it time that the WNBA looks to compete with Europe and go for a traditional season? You know, your what is it, November till May or October till May, however it would work.
Ooh, but then you would also have to. I feel like they would also be. That would take the talent level down because most Americans go over because they have more money overseas, I believe. So your top tier players. Remember back in the day when Taurasi got paid by Russia or one of the Russian teams to actually not play in the WNBA? So I think there would be a lot of the top tier talent players not playing in America because financially the NBA just can't compete with them at this time. But I do think that they should be trying to position themselves to go after these players and to invest money into the game, into the WNBA, to be able to keep those players and keep the top tier talent players, because we could have a great league that could play more traditional league, like you're saying. But yeah, it's difficult having those women play year round like that. You know, they go overseas and play their European or, you know, wherever country they're in league, and then they come straight back and basically play the WNBA season. But yeah, personally, I think that'd be a great thing for them to look forward to. But right now, I don't think they're in a position to do that. Unfortunately, I think we still need to raise awareness of the WNBA game and teach fans in America that this game is awesome. And if you really love basketball, then you do love WNBA basketball, women's basketball. I think that.
Why do you think there's such a difference in the way kind of women's basketball in the States is treated as opposed to in Europe? Because like you say, you know, they've got huge crowds in Europe, like the fans are really into it. And in the States, you know, it's not, in the community, it's really supported. But then you get these outside sort of factors and it's a bit disparaging. What do you think? What do you think the reason is for that?
I think Europeans and others actually love the game of basketball, and I'll explain what I mean by that. Because like I was saying before, like the WNBA game is so pure, and if you're looking at it, the skills, the footwork, and the fundamentals that they use to actually play basketball isn't overshadowed by the athleticism and dunks and whatnot that you have in the NBA. And I feel like that's more so what Americans are accustomed to. It's just big dunks and things like that that aren't necessarily in the WNBA game yet. They don't appreciate the fundamentals of basketball, and you can see that in the way things are called. Like if you look at a walk or a travel in America versus a walk or travel in European leagues is called more closely because Europeans value those fundamentals and those skills more so than Americans do, which just value the highlights and the dunks. So I think, like I said, if you're a basketball purist and you love the game of basketball, you love women's basketball. But if you're just looking for, highlight after highlight as far as dunks, then you're not really looking for the WNBA, which is sad because they have such great talent and such great, skill that is overshadowed, I believe.
I think that chimes with a lot of what we see when we're looking at. So, for example, I was trying to find some pre-draft coverage. I wanted to, learn a little bit more about the players and see who they were coming in. Because I don't watch a lot of I'll hold my hands up. I don't watch a lot of college basketball. I've got plenty on my plate. There we go. So I was catching up a little bit, and I'd go on YouTube and be like, "Oh, WNBA draft," and it's the top results are always like, "But can they dunk?" And I'm like, "Are you a Go and watch the Harlem Globetrotters. They're amazing. Don't get me wrong. Oh my God, if you can dunk, good on you, as Phillip Brown can. But there's more to the game with respect to everybody who can throw down. And again, I'm a bit jealous of you, but still. But it's like, which is it?
I'm 100% with you on that, and I'm one of the people that go after these people in the comments. I like a good, tussle from time to time, and I will, go at these kids because I can, at a certain point say something and then be able to back it up as well without, bragging, of course. But I'm like, bro, you can't even dunk. How are you, upset at these women for not dunking, but you can't dunk? And then they'd be like, well, and I'm like, bro, like, these women would kill you in one-on-one, bro. Like, what are you talking about? These women are so good, so skilled, Like, I wouldn't face half of the women in WNBA. They beat me, and I'm not afraid to admit that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not afraid to admit that. But the disrespect that they get in the comments or like is ridiculous, and it's actually like I'm ashamed of the males that get into the comments and spew this hate against the women's basketball league because they are very talented and very, very good. Yes, maybe not all of them can dunk, but like you're saying, that's a very small portion of the game. It's not, if it even is a portion, like it's the same amount of points as a layup. Like it does nothing more for you than a layup does. Like, I don't understand like the big hype of it.
That's a great point.
But yeah, so like a woman shooting a 3-pointer is more points than a man dunking. Like if you, that's why I get it back to, if you love the game of basketball, you're not just looking for the entertainment of a dunk, then you love women's basketball. You can't not love how pure the game is. Without dunking, I guess is the only difference. I would even go a step further and say the women are more skilled and more fundamentally sound than half of the NBA, because half of the NBA just rely on that athleticism and dunking. They travel off of the not to kill the NBA because I love the NBA, but they travel on their first step, which is easier for them to get past the defender. Then they take 3 steps together and then they dunk. No skill involved. Like, that's just pure athleticism. You just run fast and dunk. Like, that's not a skill. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I get frustrated, and that's when I fight back in the comments and leave little remarks, and it's like, bro, if you just only knew basketball, you wouldn't be saying that. Because I don't know any real basketball player that downs the WNBL women players. I don't know any real basketball player does.
Caz, you'll remember better than me because I forget this kind of thing. But which player was it that got into it with a WNBA player because they were like, put some respect on our name? But my name is there, getting called out all through game.
Iguodala and Ariel Powers.
Powers? Yeah, Ariel Powers. Yeah. He was like number 33 is good. And she was like, put some respect on my name. You don't. If you're watching the game, they've been saying my name the whole time. So if you think I'm that good, at least acknowledge my name.
Yeah. I mean, how hard is it to look up?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Excuse me. If you have time to tweet, you have time to listen to my name. But yeah, put some respect on my name. But getting back to it, like you were brought up the orange hoodies. A lot of NBA players were spotted in the orange hoodies this summer and showing support. Like I say, any real basketball player doesn't down women's basketball or WNBA basketball. So, I need one of those orange hoodies too.
And again, like WNBA Europe, NBA Europe, come on, we need that stock because I need myself a Satu Sabali jersey. There we go. I said it. There we go. I said it. I admitted it. Finally admitted. I quite like the Dallas Wings. There we go. I've been trying to fight it all summer long.
Keeping it on the low all season.
Yeah. Well, unlike Caz, who supports every team in the WNBA, appears.
I just appreciate it. I just appreciate all the good teams.
Appreciate everything.
In terms of teams in WNBA, is it time to expand? Because what is it, 146 jobs? And you've got all of this talent in Europe. You've got all that talent in South America, Australia, North America. Firstly, I need Melly Grett in the league. That just needs to happen. But is it time to expand to more teams, 14, 16, beyond? And where would be good in America for a women's pro team?
I love the question. And I think it is time to expand, but we have to do it selectively. We have to pick those right markets that can sustain a women's basketball team. I would go back to honestly like some of the older WNBA team spots, like the Houston Comets. Like Houston doesn't have a team. What are some other older teams that aren't
Detroit
anymore? Detroit, I don't know much about Detroit. I don't know if they're back up on their feet or not. I know they had some financial troubles back in the day. So I'm not sure how they are. Last time I was there downtown. No offense to anybody who lives in Detroit, but downtown wasn't, back up and running to 100%. But yeah, it would just be selective. But as you were saying, there's so many women coming out of college. There's so many women playing overseas that would love the opportunity to come to the WNBA and play. Because it is just like so even though they have like the Super League and everything in Europe, like it is just like a compact version of that, like in one country where like all these top women come back. So you can say that all the top women in the world, not all of them, but a majority of the top women are playing in one league. So let's expound on that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Let's make that bigger. Instead of you playing with your team and then in one league and then having to travel to play a game a week in this cumulative league. Let's just keep this one big league this summer. But yeah, I think like I was saying, that goes along with it. It takes some time to get some finances back behind it and just educate people on women's basketball, which is been shown to be a difficult task in America at least. But yeah, I think that'd be a great idea to expand because I would love to see more players and more games.
Now, as you know, sorry, Caz, I've just got a quick question. As you know, Philip, over in Europe, a lot of men's programs or sports teams have a women's team attached to it. Like pretty much every team in Europe in most sports. Would that be a thing that the NBA and WNBA could look at doing, like Boston Celtics women or something like that? They'd probably give it a silly Boston Celtics or something like that, but you know what I mean.
If I'm not mistaken, they do have some type of agreement. And most, I won't say most, but a lot of the WNBA teams that are in the cities with male teams are owned by the same owner or by the same ownership group. But yeah, I think if we combine them more, that could be a way to actually finance to start until they can actually get to a level where we can bring in some money and like actually garner fans. But I think the NBA does a good job of promoting the WNBA, and vice versa. I think they do work together well, but there's always improvements that could be had. But yeah, I think that would be a great thing if we can get more of that around the board, and then we can have those already. We have the arenas already there. We have we have basketball fans already there. We've already shown that they can support a team. But yeah, I think that's the thing that we should look at.
I mean, Boston needs a women's team. I'm just going to come out and say it. Like, I know Connecticut Sun is down the road, even though Connecticut and Boston are quite far.
Right.
Let's make it happen. I want to see some women wearing the green and the white and all that good stuff.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
Something that surprises me is that women's college basketball is so big, but there's cities, and states like Portland and Oregon and South Carolina, North Carolina, that don't have like a representative team. And you think it would work in a city like that if you've kind of already got the infrastructure there for the college team, have a professional team there.
Right. But yeah, that goes again to like, I don't know if y'all know much about American universities, but like they have like powerhouse football teams that bring in a lot of money that can garner a women's team of a certain caliber. So, yeah, like I don't know, like South Carolina doesn't have any professional sports teams at all. Like, like so I don't know like how that market would be. And then the thing with colleges is that you have alumni that go to these schools and graduate from there that keep coming back to the same school and keep giving money to the same school. But yeah, there was some way to like harness or like keep those college stars in that same city.
Yeah.
And keep that fan base growing and keep that player going in that same city. I think that could work. I think that'd be a good thing to look at as well.
Like the thing that I look at with did you, for example, Portland and Maine, for example, with the men's Red Claws, it's like, what is stopping you getting to a G League game? Like the prices are cheap. You're seeing Taco Fall every night, and it's just there. Like go and do it. And I see the same thing with the WNBA as well. When we're in a normal situation, it's like Westchester Knicks, their gym. Sorry, not Westchester Knicks. The New York Liberty playing in Westchester. The gym was pretty empty at times, and it's like, guys, just go to the game. It is great.
Right.
Like, what more can be done to get American fans in the arenas?
As far as WNBA games or just like G League games as well?
I mean, yeah. So I use G League as an example as well because I don't understand it, but obviously WNBA as well, or primarily.
I don't know because the games aren't super expensive. I think it's just like I was saying earlier, it's just the mentality. They just don't appreciate the same way that Europeans do, and they don't just like have a love for the game of basketball. I feel like in America as much. But yeah, I think we just need to keep investing in young women as well and having them come out and exposing them to the game of basketball. And that's how you really get your fans started. You start at the grassroots level. You have these women out, in their communities, talking to kids, getting them out there, getting awareness up, showing basketball that women play basketball too, and they can be good, and do, and do everything else as far as businesses and stuff too. So I think it starts early with women growing that culture up, and then if they're coming in, they're asking their parents to come to the game. That's 3 people right there that you're bringing in, and start like that. I think that'd be a good way to get started, and then you have lifelong fans after that. One of the ladies that I interviewed that runs the Diana Taurasi fan page, that's how she started. Diana Taurasi, she saw Diana Taurasi somewhere, became an instant fan of her, and then has a fan page that has thousands of followers now. That's how it starts. You start young, you grow them up, you cultivate them into the game of basketball, and start there.
I did have another question that was related to teams and players in America, and I've completely. Oh no, it's not in America. What do you make of Ekaterinburg in Russia? This absolute juggernaut all-star team playing in Russia.
Say it one more time.
Ekaterinburg. Are you familiar with who's on that roster?
I am not. Who's on that roster? I know they have a lot of money in Russia, and I know they put a lot of money into it.
They've got Brianna Stewart, Emma Miesemann, Courtney Vandersloot, Ali Quigley, Maria Vadivia, and I'm forgetting someone. And they did have Brittany Griner last season.
Jonquel Jones.
Jonquel Jones, yeah.
Did you say Quigley?
And Vandersloot,
yeah. Did. That's an all-star team, basically. That's a WNBA all-star team playing, and I know they have a lot of money to do it. And that's the the thing that I found out about like European teams, there's like no salary cap, so they can kind of just put as much money in and buy the best players as we use in European basketball teams, but they just pay for the best players to come over and play on their team. And why would you not want to play with some of your friends that from America and come over there and play together? So I think it's extremely unfair, but extremely unfair. But
they've not lost yet, shockingly.
Yeah. Oh man, I couldn't see them losing, and if they did, I don't know. It's probably some type of penalty in their in their contract. Oh, you lost the game? Give me that money. No, but that's ridiculous if they're all on the same team. I would definitely go see a game of that, though. If they're all on the same team. I'm in Russia, and I love basketball. I guarantee you they pack out every game. I don't know about this season with COVID in Russia, but I'm pretty sure they pack out every game. In their league games and in their European league games as well. I'm pretty sure they pack it out. So
yeah, it's a great looking gym. We were the other week after the Caz and Daz show finished. We were just watching a game of who was it? It was Ekaterinburg and the team
TTC Riga.
That's the one who actually beat them last year. And great looking gym, packed out, and just great quality basketball.
Right.
What more could you want?
Right, because you have all these stars playing together and playing the right way. They know they're not necessarily asked to do, score 20 points a game because they have 4 other people on their team that could do that. So, they're playing the right way. They're sharing the ball. And it just makes for beautiful basketball that way. I know, I'm not sure their coach is, but I'm pretty sure they got them, playing all together and stuff, and just showing a beautiful display of the game of basketball, which is pretty to see. And then going back to soccer, I think that the way the game of soccer builds, you can see the ball coming up, and you can see the runs, you can see the players moving. If you watch the San Antonio Spurs play and how they pass the ball, how they all work together, and how that system flows, it's beautiful to watch. It's beautiful to watch, like the setup happening. You see somebody cut and they give them the pass and they don't shoot the layup. They kick it out to the 3. They swing it around the horn. Another person drives, they kick it out. It's beautiful to watch. And I think, women's basketball really embodies that. And that just makes the game beautiful. It just makes it really beautiful.
I know we've taken quite a bit of your time this evening, so I'm just going to ask a couple more questions if that's all right.
Yeah, go ahead. No, I'm free until whenever you need me.
Oh, amazing, thank you. Firstly, over the summer, did you, as I did, I admit it, did you find yourself like starting to root for any teams, or just particularly enjoying some teams or some players' performance?
Well, me personally, I'm a big big Brianna Stewart fan. I've watched her since college, so I'm a big fan of her in the Storm. So yeah, I definitely rooted for them. Quietly, I didn't show any bias on my post. I may have posted like 1 or 2 posts more of the Storm than other teams, but definitely kept an eye out for them. That's my favorite team. Because of Brianna Stewart, I'm pretty sure I would be a fan of wherever she played. I just like her. She's a tall wing. Yeah, I definitely gotta look into that. And that reminds me, I was actually kind of thinking of transferring, or I was thinking of ideas to do with the WNBA Wobble. So this is inside track. I haven't talked to anybody about this yet, so y'all are getting the scoop.
Yes.
Like following the WNBA players' careers over in Europe and following, Brianna Stewart is playing, in Russia, like you said, and this is what she did last game from, the Seattle Storm. Brianna Stewart from the Seattle Storm is playing here. This is what she did last game, showing highlights of that. Kind of transitioning to continue to shine light on these players, but also like roping it back into the WNBA. So like attaching their overseas careers back to the WNBA. and try to see if I could bridge the gap from some of those fans that, overseas in Europe, to kind of follow those players back to the WNBA and vice versa. People that, such as myself, that doesn't watch, overseas women's basketball as much, and I see my favorite player playing for Russia or whatnot, playing in Russia, I would follow them over there and watch their journey over there too. So, yeah.
Well, it's like you can watch your favorite player for 5 months in the WNBA, or you can watch them all year round if you follow overseas as well.
Exactly. So that's kind of what was been in my head to do. I haven't quite worked it out yet and started into it, but that would be something I'd be interested in. So,
well, if you're looking for a resource where to find links to a lot of the league's games, and we're still adding to it, so if we've missed any, let us know. Over on our website, FocusHoops.com, we have the women's basketball live stream links with plenty of information there of how you can go and watch your favorite women's teams, favorite women's players, find out where they're playing, and you can watch their games. A lot of them for free. A lot of them are on FIBA YouTube for free, which is the best YouTube channel going. No offense to anybody else out there, okay? But there's so much live basketball. It's unreal.
Awesome. Yeah, I definitely have to tap into that. So, yeah, I'm going to check out the team in Russia, like you were saying. What's it called? Ekaterinburg?
Yeah, Ekaterinburg. UMMC. Yeah.
Excuse me, Ekaterinburg. Yeah, so I definitely, tune into that. And then, I would love to see it. I would love to see. Are they back with having fans over there yet, or?
Not in Russia, but they are in some of the. I think in Spain. I think they've had some.
Yes,
no,
okay. Spain.
Yeah,
Spain have fans back. I think. I feel like Melly Gretz had people watching it,
and some in Germany. So I think it's just differing at the moment.
Yeah, it depends. Yeah, it depends on the country. That's true. But yeah, how are y'all doing? You staying safe over there? Are y'all in lockdown now? Sorry, it's kind of off topic.
No, it's fine. Yeah, our country went into lockdown. What was it? 2 weeks ago, Caz?
Yeah, I think we've got 2 more weeks to go. 2 weeks today, it ends. In theory.
Wow. Yeah.
Whether it doesn't.
Is it pretty strict over there? Because we're apparently we're not as strict as the first lockdown, but we're pretty strict as far as you have to have, a reason and a paper to actually go outside of your house and stuff. So
we're not quite that
very
strict.
Very, very different from my time in LA as well, and then even more different than my time in Atlanta a few weeks ago. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure everybody's being safe and doing as much as you can.
Yeah, we're good.
We're all being sensible. Thank you. Yeah.
Awesome,
Wear your mask.
Yeah.
Wear your mask.
For sure. 100%. Save a life.
It's a shame that we can't get, we've got some really great basketball as well in this country. The women's league started up a couple of weeks ago. We can't watch it in person, but the teams have put good stuff in place, so they're streaming games, so we can at least watch games
keep
like that.
With it. Right.
Yeah. I've got to say, obviously, horrible situation that we're all going through. That goes without saying. But the opportunities that have come out of it, and we've seen it with the WNBA, we're seeing it in British basketball now. Every game pretty much is live streamed. There's more opportunity for commentators. So for people like me, very happy. And yeah, just everybody stepped up to the plate to make sure that the best women's basketball is getting put on the big stage that everyone can see and enjoy and learn.
Yeah, for sure. So wait, you do commentating as well during the live streams of the games?
Yeah, most of the live streams have a commentary. So I commentate for a men's pro team in London Lions. Check it out. We've got a game.
Yeah, I know them.
Yeah. So
yeah, I know them.
I'm that guy, and also Anglia Ruskin in National League, Women's National League. We're coming back in a couple of weeks. Going to bring you loads of games on Focus Hoops, and yeah, most of the teams have really good live commentary.
Yeah, that's so awesome. Yeah, I didn't know that, but yeah, that's awesome. Congratulations. This is your first year? Yeah.
First year, second year-ish with the Lions. I started doing from January. And
that's amazing. Yeah, that's a great opportunity.
3 years in with AIU, I think it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's been good
I have
time.
to check out a game. Yeah, you have a great voice too, so
I appreciate that. That's very kind.
Yeah.
Sunday, I think it's 2:30 tip-off. Check it out.
Sounds good. 3:30 my time.
Yeah. So I think that just about wraps us up. But first, just tell us about what you're doing this season. What's going on with you this season, Phillip?
So So as I was saying, my girlfriend, her visa ended in America, and right now it's a hassle trying to renew a visa and whatnot. So yeah, she had to come back to France, so I came back with her. Decided to play in another year, and actually coach a U15 team down in Montélimar, France, in the south. So yeah, as soon as I got here, we came back to her family's house, and then like the next weekend we were supposed to go down to my city and start a season there. And then we got shut down. So we got shut down for basketball for 6 weeks. We're supposed to be opening up beginning of December. But now they're saying with it being so close to the Christmas break, they may just bring it back in the new year. So I kind of just, yeah. So I've kind of been, and then the thing about it is if you take 6 weeks to, 2 months off, you can't just say like, all right, well, we know we haven't been allowing you to practice or do anything, but, we have a game next weekend, you can't.
Pick it up.
Right. So I guess it'll take some time to get everybody back, kind of in game shape, and then get the teams back on one page before they can actually start games back up. So it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, I'm playing for a team down in Montélimar, France, and coaching a U15 team down there as well. So I'm looking forward to that.
That's fantastic. If your side do the live streams or any stream of that, send us the links. We'll get it out on our platforms as well. Make sure that people are watching Phillip Brown playing basketball this season.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I would love that. Yeah, some dunks would be awesome.
So have you not even been able to get like on any court time or work out or anything? You're just stuck inside.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying. There are pretty strict rules out here, so all the gyms are closed as far as like weight wise, like weight rooms, and then also like basketball gyms have been closed as well. But I've been lucky enough to have some good weather out here, so I've been going to the outdoor court with my 1 hour a day of outside physical activity time. With my paper, of course, you gotta have your. It's like $180 like fine if you caught without your paper. Yeah. So they're pretty strict out here. So
yeah.
So yeah, I've actually been going to the court when when we've had decent weather and getting some workout out there. But yeah, definitely missing the gym. Definitely missing wood floors and not outside on concrete and whatnot. Yeah. So, but yeah, just trying to make the best of it. And, I do appreciate them keeping their country safe. It's a lot more than what we're doing in America, which is nothing in a lot of cases. Yeah. But that's a whole different story.
Yeah. All right. So Phillip Brown, just a huge thank you to you for taking the time out this afternoon, or this evening rather, and sharing your love and your passion for the women's game. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. It's great meeting both of you, and look forward to following you all, and hopefully we can do this again sometime.
Yeah, fingers crossed. We'd absolutely love you to. Once you've seen some Ekaterinburg play, we'll definitely have you on to break it down for us a little bit.
All right, sounds good.
Where can people find you?
Okay, the reason you have me on here is because of the WNBA _Wobble. This is WUBBLE. And it's just about women's basketball, the women's WNBA, or the WNBA, not the women's WNBA, the WNBA and women's basketball. And then my personal Instagram is Phillip, the number 3, and then Brown is Phillip with 2 L's. 3 Brown. And then also you can find me on Facebook / Phillip Brown 21, I believe it is. I don't do Twitter though.
It's probably best.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Phillip. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you as well. I appreciate this so much. Thank you, guys.
Take care.
See you.
See ya. So how cool was that, Caz? How good?
That was awesome. That was great. What a great guy, and what a story. What a journey he's been on.
It's great, amazing. We are going to go to a very quick break, quick word from our sponsors, and then we'll be back with a bit of charity chat, and then post game. What am I saying? No, we're going to talk about WNBA. We've got lots to talk about. All right, Back in a moment. Word from our sponsors, Notch, the mark of achievement, and we are very glad to have them on board with Focus Hoops this year. They make fantastic bracelets that look super stylish and really help you celebrate your sporting achievement. They've just launched a basketball collection, and we're really excited to be on board with them. Let's imagine that you're a player. Let's say that you're Courtney Vandersloot. You got 18 assists in a single ball game, and you want a notch and a bracelet to commemorate that fact. Well, you can do just that. Customize it to your team colors, put the year that you achieved it, and get it the exact size that you need. There are a number of the colors available. Or maybe you're a coach. Maybe you're the coach of a basketball team. Let's just say that you're the London Tyrannosaurus Rex. Your team wears red. You had the league's most valuable player, the MVP, and you want to celebrate that. You want to award them with a great looking notch bracelet. Well, you can do just that, and you can get it saying MVP on the notch itself. That's the charm. You can get the colour you want. Gold is one that I'd go for if we're commemorating the best player in the league. We could even get the team logo, if it's the Tyrannosaurus Rex, let's say, on there, and present it in a beautiful presentation case. Huge thanks for Notch for coming on board Focus Hoops. Hello, we are back. We are back after our word from our sponsors, Notch. And again, they've got some really cool new things out at the moment, like keychains. Got all sorts. I'm wearing my Notch bracelet as always. I went pink because I think pink is a fun colour. Charity corner, as always. Firstly, Reece, he's still at it. He's halfway through. He's over halfway through now. He's still at it on his bike. That looks like it's probably causing him some physical discomfort. So, given that he's putting his body on the line, see if you can't give a couple of quid because he's doing it for Mind. Great mental health charity. As Phillip Brown alluded to, so important mental health is. And make sure that we're following him. Also, he's got the Movember going. So, huge shout out to Reece. Make sure that you check him out in the description below. If you can't afford a bit of money right now, that's absolutely fine. But do share it across your social media platform. He's doing a great thing, and he's a top bloke. We're going to get him on at some point down the journey. Now, a second charity corner this week, and I've not sought permission from Colwyn Bay to share this, so hopefully it's okay with them. But Colwyn Bay Football Club is the town I'm from. It's the football club in Wales that I support. And Brian Kelly has been an integral part of that club for the past, I don't know now, about 14 years, but going back even further than that. He's been the kit man there since about 2002, 2006 era, and it's just been such a huge part of this club. When they came to play a local team down here in Cambridge, went to go and see Colwyn Bay away from home. It was great. But he was there doing the kit man duties. Always great to have around the club, chat, and just a very kind and friendly and life and soul of the football team. Anyway, he sadly passed away a couple of days ago in Colwyn Bay Community Hospital. And Colwyn Bay Football Club are putting together a GoFundMe to try and give him a proper send-off. That's somebody who's impacted that football club and that community so much down the years. So the link is in the description below as well for that. If you want to have a look at it and give it a share. There's been some really beautiful comments about Brian and the impact that he's had on a lot of people's lives just through the work he's done at Colwyn Bay Football Club and just being a really, really kind soul. So if you've got a couple of pennies to throw at it, please consider it and or share it on your social media platforms because he was a nice guy. He was well thought of. He was well loved around the club, it would appear. And it's just a nice thing to do, isn't it? All right. Anyway, that is this week's Charity Corner. Don't forget, where's he gone? There he is. Reece, he's cycling for Mind. And again, he's probably doing himself a real mischief. So check him out. We bring back Caz Bullock, the legend. That's all.
Hello.
Where are we going to start, Caz? Shall we start with the WNBL Team of the Week? We need a jingle.
We do. Do you want to sing it? You seem like you'd be good at singing.
We talk about this a lot. You know I'm singing. Okay. We'll get the Trivium guy to sing it. Anyway.
Okay, yeah.
It's Team of the Week. Team of the Week. There it is. Makana Stone of Loughborough Riders winning the Player of the Week award, and she was a bit ridiculous this weekend. She was a little bit ridiculous in her game this weekend, but there were some stunning performances from a lot of people. Stone started, won the tip-off, got an assist within about 4 seconds into the game. She finished with 18 points, 25 rebounds, 3 assists. Truly monstrous numbers. She also had 3 steals and a block in the 64-61 win over the Reading Rockets. Molly Lavin. Now, there was a lot of discussion in the Focus Hoops chat because, again, we take this really seriously. We are lucky to be in a position to be able to make these calls in conjunction with the National League, and we take it really seriously. So Molly Lavin, a lot of discussion, but we think that she was worthy of it. Drove the bus is one quote that was used in the chat to describe the way Molly impacted the game. Very narrow overtime loss, 77-81 after overtime against Ipswich. Esther Little, of course she's back. She had 5 of the 7 overtime points for Ipswich. She was dominant. Izzy Ozzy Mahmoodou went head-to-head with Esther Little. And again, Ozzy Mahmoodou, an absolute problem for defenders. She had a gargantuan performance this weekend. 18 rebounds, 10 offensive boards. Are you kidding me? Couple that with 21 points. She has a bright future, this player. She's awesome. A player that she's played against just was like, I just couldn't do a lot with her. She's just too big, too strong, and just got inside and did whatever she wanted to do. And finally, Harriet Wellham, who, again, another absolute monster performance from Harriet Wellham. 28 points, 10 boards, 3 assists, had a really solid performance. Had a couple of turnovers, and we do factor that in. But I think her work on especially the offensive glass and as well as the steals, I think that made up for it, in my opinion. But hey, it is just our opinion. Well, I suppose it's a bit more than our opinion, isn't it? It's Team of the Week. But let us know, or as always, let us know what you think. We read every comment we get, and we will respond to pretty much all of them. And Caz,
I was just going to say, a full 45 minutes for Harriet Wellham as well.
And that's the little.
No breaks there. Yeah.
No breaks there. So as per the Iron women themselves, going the full 45. The longest a player played for Molly Lavin played 42 minutes, 33 seconds. Now, in terms of Cola, Southwark Pride women basketball and Jackson Gibbons, that is frankly ridiculous. Because ordinarily, Gibbons is quite, selective might not be quite the right word, but he shares the minutes out quite a lot. And he did this weekend as well. But 42 minutes for a Cola player jumps off the page at me. And that's how important she is, will continue to be. And wherever she goes next in her career after her time at Cola, she is going to be something very, very special. So really excited to see how she goes. Caz, anything more on our Team of the Week?
Yeah, it's again, we're just getting some amazing performances, like week in, week out. Makana Stone, 11 offensive rebounds as well of the 25. They're incredible performances, and we're really lucky to be able to see these. It's, as you're saying, it was a discussion who's going to go in it, but the fact that there is a discussion and that we have so much choice, it's great. It's great for the women's game. It's great for the league, and it's great for it's a great advert for basketball in this country.
It is fantastic, and again, when we talk about discussion, we talk about it from the end of Saturday evening right the way through until Monday evening when we try and lock in our 5. This week, the conversation went a bit beyond that. Texts were being exchanged at 2:00 in the morning. Okay, so why am I saying this? I'm saying this because I just want people to understand that we take this incredibly seriously, and we really put in the legwork for that. So everybody at Focus Hoops, big shout to you for doing that. Right. Games this weekend. So we've just spoken briefly about some of the performances, but Pride, they fell at home to the still unbeaten Ipswich, 77-81 in overtime. Cola Southwark Pride took Ipswich to overtime. I cannot overstate that. And I gave them, now this is my call, I gave them team performance of the week. Now, we had a team put up a 50 piece this weekend, was it? 83-36 Worcester over Barking Abbey. Okay. Great team performance. Nobody jumps off the page at you. It's a real team effort, that one. But you've just taken Ipswich, who are right now the best team in the National League, best team in England, as I refer to it, and you've taken them to overtime. That's something that Nottingham Trent didn't do. Solent didn't do. Who else have they played? Barking Abbey didn't do. So that's huge. And Southwark Pride are looking really nice this year. They're looking really good. And I'm excited to see more of what Lavin, Connell, Black, Henshaw, and of course, Ozzy and Mahmood can really perform this year. But I mean, Ipswich is just loaded, aren't they?
They are.
Wellham, Redhead, Casey, Taylor Willis, who had a bit of a quieter game this week, but still a huge part of that team.
And Esther Little, so Ipswich scored 7 points in overtime. 5 of them were scored by Esther Little. So
the only stat I wish we had on a stat sheet was points contribution. Like, how many points did you assist on and score and get offensive rebounds? We'll chuck offensive rebounds in there. The Loughborough Student Riders / the Leicester Riders 2, 64-61 winners over the Reading Rockets. Rockets took the second half, but the damage was done just enough in the first half. Some nice performances from both teams. I was on the fence. I was putting the case forward for Candela Hermida Nunez, 17-6-4. Really, really solid performance. She was like top of the list of honourable mentions this week.
5 steals too.
And 5 steals. A perfect 0 in the plus minus and an index of 19. So, really, really solid performance. Came up against a really tough Riders team. But Makana Stone, his. Can I get on a soapbox? Do you mind if I just get on Daz's soapbox?
Do it.
We've got Kaz's corner. We've got Daz's having a moan. She played D3 college, which means that she can't play in the WBBL. She's just put up 18 points, 25 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, 1 block, 6 times fouled. And she can't play WBBL. It's just stupid. It's just stupid. That's it. There's no other word for it. Okay, we have to draw this arbitrary line because of no good reason. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear this. If you're good enough to do that kind of damage, I don't care where you went to school, you should be able to play WBBL. And the only reason she's not is because Basketball England, I think it is, but I think it's mainly the Home Office. The government say, well, if you play D3, I mean, you can't play pro-tier basketball in this country. Are you kidding me? She would crush. Well, she wouldn't crush, but she would be a heck of a performer. For any WBBL team would be happy to have that sort of production from a forward. It frustrates me. And we saw the same thing with Mads Homily last year. Mads Homily is WBBL standard. Is she going to be the best player in the WBBL? Probably not. She's proper good, but she ain't. I don't think she's quite that good. But she could definitely perform. Why couldn't she though? D3.
So could a player that's played D2 come off the bench, played 2 minutes a game, scored 1 point all season, playing the WBBL, but you're leading your team in D3, and you can't?
Yeah,
makes perfect sense.
Perfect sense. Perfect sense. And again, it's like, why do players go to D3? Why do they go to these different schools? A lot of it comes down to the quality of education. Because these guys are setting themselves up for the future. So a player like Makana Stone, Mads Homily, their basketball career, this is potentially the last season of Stone's basketball career, which, she's getting her master's. She's going to go on to amazing things in whatever she wants to do in life. But it's just unfortunate that players of these caliber, this is possibly it for them. Unless a team in Europe takes some interest in them, for example. And It bugs me. It really bugs me that a player's career just is artificially shortened because she made a choice at 18 to go to a college that suited her needs for that 4-year window, but then that is a cut-off point for the rest of her career. I'm sorry, I know I'm having a bit of a rant here. We're 1 hour and 15 minutes deep into a show. Like, you gotta allow me this. I don't know. It's just stupid, and I wish it changed.
No,
but
it is. It just seems wildly unfair. It's.
Anyway, that's Daz's rant done. Daz's rant. We need jingles. We'll work on that. Anyway, they beat the Rockets, so the Rockets are still winless. They have an 0-2 record, so only played 2 games, lost them both. That was a close loss. It's going to be an interesting one this year with Loughborough, with Reading, seeing where those two end up finishing. But Mikey called it at the start of the season. He said, "I've heard they've got this America called Stone. I've been watching her game in college. She looks a bit tasty on the basketball floor." I mean, I'm saying, what's that? 18 and 25. Those are some tasty numbers. We're going to see how she goes. And the other game this weekend, Worcester 83, Back in Abbey London Lions 2, 36. That is a bit one-way traffic. Worcester, who did get a mention in the Team of the Week conversation, they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players in double figures. 6 players in double figures. Their standout performer for me was Imogen Yude, 13 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist. What else did Imogen do? Plus 21. She got 4 steals in the game, so a really good day at the office for Imogen Yude. But yeah, lots of very good performances on that team. It looks like they lined up with 4 guards as well, which you just like to see that, don't you?
Yeah, definitely.
So again, very, very impressive stuff from them. The leading player for Back in Abbey London Lions 2 was, as always, Kian Omer-Jones, 11-4 and 1 record for her for the evening or the afternoon. I forget exactly what time it was played. Afternoon. So that's the WNBL roundup. Caz, where to?
Shall we have a quick WBBL preview for this week of just the games this weekend?
Before we do that, what has happened there? Before we do that, just very quickly, the game's coming up this weekend because I'm getting ahead of myself. On Saturday, 21st, we've got Loughborough Riders Women versus Worcester Wolves. That is a game I'm fascinated by. I'm very excited to see that game. Actually, I'm excited to see all the games this weekend because Nottingham Trent University are taking on Cola Southwark Pride as well.
That will be good.
That could be a great game. That's at 4 p.m. So these 2 games, they're on at the same time, pretty much.
No, we don't want this. Stagger
National
them.
League, stagger your games. It's a bit more difficult in National League, but still, have a chat. So that's good. Those are 2 great games. So we're going to be dual screen monitoring that bad boy. Let me tell you that. And on Sunday, and some breaking news, I'm going on a show. I've been invited onto the Rebound show tomorrow evening to preview Sunday's game, the Reading Rockets and the Team Solent Kestrels, Sunday at 3:30. So a really exciting game. I'm looking forward to watching that. I'll watch that back on the train home, I think.
And how do we listen to that? How do we listen to you on that?
Check out Rebound on all the social media, and they'll be live on YouTube. I think I'm on at 8:45, quarter to 8. I think it's 8:45. But yeah, with the amazing Chris Hughes from Rebound. That guy does amazing work. In terms of the table, Ipswich are top 4-0, then Worcester Wolves 2-0, Cola Southwark Pride 2-2, Team Solent Kestrels 2-1, Nottingham Trent University 1-1, LRU 1-0, Loughborough 1-1, Cardiff Met in 8th, have not yet played, but they are still in the playoff picture. We'll see how they go. WBBL, let's go, Caz.
So we've got 4 cup games this weekend. We have Oaklands and Cardiff Met Archers on Saturday, Leicester and Nottingham Saturday as well, and then Sunday we've got Back in Abbey London and Sevenoaks, and then we've got the Manchester Mystics and Newcastle Eagles as well.
What game is jumping out at you of those?
I'm obviously looking forward to watching the Mystics again, and seeing how, you know, as we mentioned on our GB Sunday show, which feels like a lifetime ago, but the Mystics have signed Helen Naylor from Sheffield. Obviously, the Hatters aren't in the league this year, and she's going to be a great addition for them. So I'm looking forward to seeing her and see them play. I kind of want to see what Cardiff look like this year as well. They've had some interesting signings. Obviously, Robin Lewis is back, and they're playing Oakland. So I think that'll be a good game as well. They're all pretty interesting matchups. Leicester again, Nottingham. See some Holly Winterburn and some Hannah Robb after a GB stint at the weekend. And then we've got London and Sevenoaks, 12 p.m. on Sunday.
So yes, I'll be in the gym for that one, hopefully. Sevenoaks, Sevenoaks, Barking London Lions. I'm really excited to watch that game. That I think for me, that is potentially the most interesting of the games, because I'd want to know what London are like this year. Because all I've heard is positive. I've only heard good things about how the Barking London Lions are going to go this year. They're playing at the Copper Box Arena as well, which is always good to see. Yeah, so they're playing at the Copper Box. 12 o'clock, isn't it?
Yes, 12 o'clock Sunday.
So I don't know if there is any streaming of that game. I don't know if there's any commentary of that game. If I find out, we will let you know. And if I'm commentating, I will let you know. I'm really excited to get down and see that game. That's going to be great. Caz, any more WBBL chat?
No, there's not obviously the international break, so not too much going on this week.
Not too much going on. A couple of teams have announced some players, but nothing aside from the Helen Naylor news. No disrespect to anybody, usual caveat, but nothing really jumped out. Shall we go to GB?
Yes.
Now, if you didn't see our live show because you were watching the GB game, then you've got to be more like Chester Donnelly, who was in the comments saying, "Hey guys, this is great. I've got the game on the telly. I've got you lot on the phone chatting in my ear. It's perfect. It's a great situation. Living the dream." Not a direct quote. Anyway, we've also got the post-game show that needs to get clipped and put up on its own. But what a game. GB absolutely doing great work out there. What was the final score? It was 77-49 win over Poland. We did do a deep dive with Adam and Mikey after the game, but let's just hit you with a couple of the key takeaways. Kaz, do you want to do that?
Yeah. Key takeaway from this game: Chantel Handy is an amazing three-point shooter. Although that shouldn't be a takeaway because everyone should know that anyway, because she is fantastic. Yeah, 15 points off three-pointers in the first half. She just got the team going there, and she was just on fire. And then she had a great basket at the end of regulation. And we were talking about it. If you've seen it, her reactions to making that shot, she was so fired up. The team were fired up. We were possibly talking about maybe Chema had a target score in mind, and that could be the basket that takes them over. But amazing game from Chantel Handy. So she finished with 19 points and 5 rebounds. And, the whole team kind of that were playing, the roster that were playing, I think Chema played 8 players. So Christina Nigwe had 15 points, 8 rebounds and 2 assists. Temi Fagbenle, 8 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists and 2 steals. And Sheridan Green, 10 points, 3 rebounds and a steal. Hannah Robb got on court, got 2 points and played some really good defense in about the 2.5 minutes that she was playing. It was a great team effort. It was great to see. And I think it's really positive going into that February window for the next qualifier against Belarus. And it was just a great game, wasn't it? It was such a good game to watch.
It was a really good game to watch. It was weirdly physical. It was very physical. But there was some strange business going on in the basket. A lot it looked like watching Aussie rules, as I said a couple of times. But the standout performer for me, I think I gave a play of the game, Temi Fagbenle.
Yeah.
She, to steal a quote from somebody, drove the bus for Team GB. She did everything. She did the nitty-gritty in the post, but she was also bringing the ball up the floor. She was, nailing the entry pass to Sheridan Green. They worked really well as Temi essentially playing the point guard at times. Also, Janice Monacana, 4 offensive rebounds. Come on. Janice Monacana is she's just too good for these teams. She's too good for these teams.
Eiley Simpson as well, 12 points, 9 rebounds, 4 steals. Like everyone that got on court, had a contribution, a significant contribution.
I was catching up with Anglia Ruskin University captain Katrin Hulme, 2-time and WNBL Finals MVP, and she was talking about the game on Sunday, and she goes, Eiley Simpson, wow, she was just so impressed with the way Eiley Simpson controlled the game for GB, brought the ball up the floor, did her share of scoring, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, 9 rebounds from the point, essentially from the point guard position. She was unreal. I mean, basically everybody that saw court time for GB was excellent. I don't think that's overstating it. Everybody had a job, everybody played their part, and they were all really excellent contributions. It was the first time we've seen Renee Bush in a long time. She went 1 of 3 from the floor. She hit a 3, as Renee Bush likes to do. Oh, that was a great one as well, because she took a shot, she got it sent back, caught it, and then just put it home.
It was blocked. So she shot, it was blocked, caught the block, and just shot back again. It
was awesome. It was really good. It would have been good to see Sammy Roscoe. It would have been obviously great to see Hannah Shaw, boom.
And Nicolette. I think Nicolette was maybe carrying an injury, Adams had said.
Yeah, that's what came out immediately afterwards, from People ITK. And of course, it would have been really interesting to see Evelyn Adebayo. But they will get their chances, I'm sure, moving forward. And roll on to the last game of the window. Now, in terms of the standings in the group, I did have this open. Group F. Come on, Fever. Oh, there we are. Group F. There are only 3 teams in Group F. GB have a 2-1 record. They've got 1 more game to play. That is against Belarus. You will remember Belarus beat Team GB bad by 31. It was a 90-59 loss for GB. Poland 0-2, and I don't think they can get back into contention unless something wild happens with their 2 Belarus games. Caz, anything more on this?
I just get, again, it was a great showing of basketball, the talent of basketball in this country. Just, one of my favourite sequences that we saw, Temi Fagbenle scored on the offense, got a rebound on defense, and then made a great pass to Inigwe down the bottom to score. And watching Temi Fagbenle play basketball is wonderful. It's amazing to see, and it just those 3 plays in sequence. So you see the importance of her role to the team. She might not have had the most points, the most rebounds, but that's how she plays, and that's her importance to the team. And it's gonna be great to see him again in February.
She drove the bus.
Yeah.
She drove the bus. Yeah. Belgium are the only team so far to have punched their ticket to next year's Eurobasket. They currently have a perfect 4-0 record. They are currently plus 76 in the point differential. They're making it look easy.
Julie Ellerman is having herself a series there.
She's some player, I tell you what. They've got Ukraine, Portugal, and Finland in their group. Portugal, by the way, who, of course, had De Silva.
Yes,
they did. They had De Silva. They had oh my goodness. It was Lavinia De Silva. I need to learn to have a bit more confidence in myself. I think that's what we've learned from us. Lavinia De Silva with them. Belgium, their last game, they beat Ukraine 65-87 in game day 4. And they play Finland next. Well, I think it's just for Belgium, it's just going to be a case of more of the same. Emma Miesemann, this is going to shock you. Emma Miesemann is their top performer with 34 efficiency, 27 points per game, 6.5 rebounds a game, and Julie Ellerman has 6 assists per game. So there we go. Belgium doing the biz. Caz, any more in the world of European basketball, or are we going?
So Eurobasket have started. Euro League have started putting out some of the times of the games because the windows, the group games start on the 1st of December. So they're starting to put some of the times out there.
I'm not okay with this. I'm not okay with this 1st of December being around the corner. It doesn't make sense to me, but I'm of course very excited.
I mean, this year is just, I don't think time exists in this year, so it's okay.
It doesn't make sense.
Just get with it.
So again, Group C for me is the game that is the group that I am keeping a keen eye on. You've got Ekaterinburg, Riga, Spa Girona, and Family Schio, all in one group. Just absurd.
So Natasha Cloud was playing for Family Schio. That's the Italian team, right? She's actually now left the team because of sort of just general concerns around the pandemic and situation. So I guess they'll be looking at getting a replacement for her. But I think she's gone back to the States.
So we've got 8 games on December 1st at 2 p.m. UK time. We've got Fenerbahce versus VZZV Usk from Prague. Also, then at 3 o'clock, we've got Dynamo Kursk, Nadezhda. Are they Turkish by any chance?
I think that's the Turkish team.
We have at 4 o'clock Ekaterinburg versus Familia Schio. 5 o'clock LDCL Asvel Feminin Arca Gdynia. 7 o'clock also we've got Borges Basket Sopron Basket. Perfumias Avenida at 6 p.m. against Izmit Belediyespor. There's somebody playing in that you're interested in, aren't we?
Izmit is Brittany Sykes, I think.
That's what I seem to remember. That's what you told us earlier.
Yes.
And of course, the Samuelsons play for Perfumias Avenida. TTT Riga at 7 p.m. take on Spa Girona. And the last game of the day, 8 p.m. Galatasaray versus Basket Landes. So a couple of big matchups in that one. Fenerbahce versus Usk is probably the game I'm most looking forward to, and then TT Riga versus Spa Girona as well. Those are my 2. Caz, I'm guessing Ekaterinburg for you.
Yes, and I'd say the Fenerbahce game as well, because they've just been so fun to watch.
Yeah. Is it time?
Might be time.
She had a day, didn't she?
She did.
Talk to us.
So, Liz Cambage playing for the Southside Flyers in the WNBL, the Australian League. They were playing against the Townsville. I've just lost
Townsville
it. Fire Flames. I was going to say something like that. Something hot. Southside won 101-89, and Liz Cambage just dropped 31 points, 13 rebounds, and 6 blocks. 6 blocks. She had 20 points at halftime, and got into foul trouble a little bit, so she didn't play as much as she could have done. That is Liz Cambage is such a dominant player. And it's so exciting to be able to see her, because obviously we didn't get to see her in the WNBA this season. It feels like a long time since I've watched her play, and she's dominant. She's so dominant. And Leilani Mitchell is also on that team, who is enjoying playing with Liz Cambage and saying it's fun, it's great, and it's also giving them a bit of practice for the national squad and some of the games that they'll have going up, because it gives them the chance to play together.
Yeah. It's not quite Ekaterinburg South, but in my head, that's what I'm sort of referring to them as, Ekaterinburg South, because they've got Jenna O'Hay, Leilani Mitchell, Becca Cole, Sarah Blivkats, my apologies. So yeah, I mean, like Mitchell, O'Hay, Cambage, come on, that's a trio right there. That's a big 3. Big threes are back.
It is
trying to kill off the big 3. That's a big 3. One of the teams have had to quarantine, and I can't remember exactly which one it is.
So it's the Adelaide Lightning.
That's the one. So the team at the top of the tree, 2-0 Adelaide Lightning. Caz, the news broke on Tuesday morning, our time, that they would have to quarantine for 14 days. Can you tell us any more?
Yeah, so the government in Australia have brought in some regulations where if you've travelled, I believe it was from South Australia into Queensland after a particular date, which I think was the 9th of November.
Yeah, and they travelled in on the 9th of November.
Yeah, you have to quarantine for 2 weeks just because of I think there's more of a risk of COVID. There's higher instances of outbreaks in South Australia. So even though the Adelaide Lightning have been in the hub, as we said before, for 10 days, 2 weeks already, and they've played 2 games, because these are backdated rules that need to be followed by the government, the team have had to go into quarantine, and they've had to have the COVID tests that came back yesterday. I think there was an update from the WNBL saying they've all come back, they're all negative. Their main concern is sort of the health and the well-being and the mental health as well of the team, essentially now stuck in their hotel rooms in there where they're staying until the 23rd of November, which is next Monday. So I guess they've got 5 days left. And the games that they were due to play have been suspended at the moment. They're going to be rearranged. And then hopefully from next Monday, they'll just rejoin the league and everything there. And it's just, again, it's a precaution. We've seen it in the WNBA. We've seen it in other leagues. Players have tested positive, so they've had to sit out and things. It's just the precautions that each individual country, state, cities are taking. And this is the Australian government's decision.
Yeah, I suppose that's the only thing with hub versus bubble, because there are 3 hub cities, and it seems like the teams move in and out of these hubs, which is great, because it means that you're getting, firstly, fans are able to get in the gym.
Yep.
You're able to take it to more people, and it looks different. And people, I loved how the WNBA looked. I thought it looked gorgeous. I preferred it to the NBA. Just the way it looked. I don't know. I don't know. I just liked it.
It looked different. It felt different.
It looked different. It felt different. And I liked it. I thought it was cool. But then I also like what they're doing in Venezuela, where they've got this arena and they've put like a massive board around the base of this arena. So it's like a proper, like normal basketball gym, but it's boxed out and it looks very cool.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah. But what they're doing is they've got fans. So there's like, right, we've got 3 main cities. We're going to pop in and out of those. And that's awesome until something like this happens. And Australia's had a really interesting one with COVID where, like Western Australia have done amazingly well, like Perth, Fremantle, all that. Whereas places in the East have really struggled. And they've basically like tried to have a dividing line through the middle of the country saying, you stay over there, we'll stay over here, and never the twain will meet, because we don't want you in your mess. We will see how all this goes. Is there any on-court action aside from the Cambage show that really stood out to you?
So Jade Melbourne, who doesn't play for Melbourne, plays for University of Canberra Capitals, had a really great game against Melbourne, which was just, I think, confusing commentators, anyone watching. So UC Capitals won 67-50. Jade Melbourne, playing for UC Capitals, had a 20-point game. She's, I think she's 19. This is her first season, and she's come out with a bang. So she's had a great game. UC Capitals have decided, she's now going to be known as Jade Canberra. She can ditch the Melbourne surname and give her an honorary title there. And Madison Rocci had a great game as well. And UC Capitals, obviously, I've taken to following them a little bit. They've had a few players injured, Brittany Smart and Kelsey Griffin, and they got to play in their first games back this week. And nobody looked like, you wouldn't say, oh, these players haven't played for a little while. They kind of got straight back into it, and it looked really good. One player that did stand out from, I'll just take you from Australia to France. So probably should have covered this with Phillip earlier, actually. Alicia Clark. So FocusHoops Defensive Player of the Year. Her first game for Lyon. So she's playing in France for Lyon. She had 26 points, in 19 minutes, on 70% shooting from the field. She went 9-9 from the free throw line. She threw in some threes. Just dominant. 70%.
That's just silly. That's awesome.
I think this was just in a half as well. I don't even think she played the second half.
Don't need to. Job's done. Job's done. I was watching a YouTube video, as I want to do, of some NBA 2K21 action. I don't like the 2K games that much. They've not been what they used to be, but that's what it is. But I did see a familiar face in those games. Howard Megdal's face is in the game, and you've got this whole women's. They've really upped their women's side of things, where you can be a player, be in the WNBA, and the player models look fantastic. Alicia Clark is wearing her North American attire, where she's rocking the long sleeves. It all looks awesome. 2K looks like they've really started to put a lot more effort and attention into the WNBA, and that's awesome. I don't know if there's a women's franchise mode. There really ought to be, so that I would buy it. I you want my money. I would buy it. I would turn the Wings into a dynasty. It'd be wonderful. But yeah. So anyway, I just thought whilst we're just hopping about a little bit, I think that pretty much does it for us this evening, Caz. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think we've covered it.
I think we've covered an awful lot of stuff. So a huge thank you to you for joining us, watching. Thank you immensely to Phillip Brown for joining us for the first half of the show. That was awesome, wasn't it?
That was great. That was really great. We'll have to get him back when the season starts again. We've got a draft or something.
Yeah, and when he's seen some Ekaterinburg, I want to know what he makes of that. So we will be back next week. Keep an eye on our social media for exactly which date and which time. I think it will still be Thursday. It may be at a slightly later time slot. We will let you know. And we've got some exciting news regarding some player interviews, but we'll keep that for just now if that's all right with you. Caz, where can people find you?
Oh, I was supposed to remember this. Yeah. You can find me on Twitter. Some variation of Hoopin Cazzy B.
Yes.
Is that right? At Hoopin Cazzy B.
Hoopin Cazzy B. Cazzy with 2 Zs.
I'll write it down so I know next time. And
of course, you can find us on Focus Hoops, and also I'm at Awed Stutch, AUEDS TOUCH. Thanks as always for joining us. Thank you as always to our partners Notch, and don't forget to check out our 2 charity campaigns down in the description below. If you can't give any money, that's absolutely fine. We're in a difficult time, but if you consider sharing them, that'd be amazing as well. All right, we'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much, and be